Hey guys, Ralph here, and welcome to True Power Trumpet Fitness on this wonderful Wednesday here in Connecticut. Life's good, campers. Life is good. Let's get right to it. You saw the thumbnail. To practice or not to practice? That is the question. 'Tis nobler to suffer the slings and arrow and the angst and guilt of not getting your practice in, or just go enjoy life. Anyway, let me honk a little bit. Haven't played a note. Let's see what we got, and we'll take it from there. Anyway, life's good. So, here's the deal. Guys, and you saw all the pictures of Doc Severinsen, because nobody just beat himself up about practicing or not practicing than Doc Severinsen. Number two, on the all-time list of guilt about practice, moi. Oh, my God in heaven. Guys, when I went to New York, I made up my mind this is going to be my career. And there may be more talented people than me, but nobody is going to work harder. And I went out and did it. Now, if I had that mindset and those chops, if I had these chops when I was 18 with that mindset, the sky would have been the limit. Sky would have been the limit. I wouldn't be talking to you now because I'd be too good for you. No, I actually enjoyed every bit of the struggle trying to work this out. But the point is, guys, if you are doing True Power, now, any other system, yes, you have to practice. If you're tightening the corners, if you're building up the orbicularis oris, you're not using the tongue, you're overblowing, yes, you have to practice. True Power, a 1SB mouthpiece or some sort of a Calit mouthpiece, if you're relaxing the corners and the tongue is in the right position and you're not overblowing, you do not have to practice. Your chops are not going anywhere. Good, bad, or indifferent. Now, here's the deal. If you are doing those three things, number one, you really and truly don't have to warm up. And that is an absolute load off your mind. Guys, the crap I used to do when I was in New York City, I was a first call at several of the big cathedrals in New York, St. John the Divine and all that sort of stuff. Not necessarily for just Easter and Christmas and all that, but, funerals and everything. A lot of the stuff was 8 o'clock in the morning, man. And if I'm playing a Latin job and ending on G's and A's until 4 o'clock in the morning and 6 o'clock the alarm rings and I have to be warmed up for an 8 o'clock gig, and I couldn't warm up, couldn't play in a New York City apartment. I had a nice apartment, but you just couldn't do it. So what did I do? I lived up in Washington Heights, up near the cloisters. I would literally, in the middle of the winter, put my jacket on, put my hoodie up, put my galoshes on, the whole 9 yards, and I will go down into the park and practice nice and full to warm up for I'd bring my piccolo trumpet down, the whole 9 yards, guys. That's what you do if you don't have True Power. Now I wouldn't think twice about it. I'd noodle around a little bit. Now, here's the rules. Number one, if you are playing correctly, and most of my students are, some are still tight, but if you are playing correctly, guys, and you are not in a position where you can get a nice practice in. You're on a trip with the family, and you are in a hotel room, and the only thing you can do is practice with a mute. Guys, don't practice. You are better off not practicing at all than practicing with any kind of those mutes, any of them. You know how I feel about gadgets, and a mute, a practice mute, a whisper mute, a Harman mute, no stem, whatever. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay? If you think you are going to use some sort of a gadget, okay, I can't practice, but I can put that stupid pencil, that asinine pencil in my mouth for 20 minutes a day and tighten all this up. Don't do it. Okay? Don't do it. If you are in a position, even without the whisper mute, where you don't feel at your in-laws' house or whatever, and you don't feel like you can play nice and full and relaxed, and if you feel like you have to pinch or put the bell of your horn in a closet or something like that, don't practice. I'm telling you, nothing is going to happen to your chops. Now, let's just say over the weekend you're at the in-laws and you have a job you really have to be on top of on Monday or Tuesday. Okay? Okay, you got to practice. Guys, find somebody's basement where you're not being bothered. Go down to the church and ask if you can honk for an hour in the rectory. What I used to do when I was on the road, I made friends with every single custodian of every single theater we ever played in. Even if it was just a couple nights. I mean, I'd bring bottles of scotch. I mean, I'd bring cigars and to these guys. So they would let me, I could just go down to the theater, and I'd spend an hour or 2 hours honking because I'm allowed to play nice and full and relaxed without worrying about bothering anybody. Okay? So if you really feel like you have to do it, get in a situation like the Cloisters. Go out in somebody's backyard if there's woods in the backyard. Go out and stand in the woods and honk till your brains. That's how Maynard Ferguson started, out in the woods in Canada. He just went out in the woods and honked till his heart content. But feel like you are playing the way you normally do. If you have to alter the way you play to get your practice done, it's not going to work. You're better off literally not playing a note and taking your chances. Now, what happens when you don't play a note? Or I should say, what doesn't happen when you don't play a note? Okay? When you don't play a note, one thing for sure, you are not tightening up. And if you are in this tiny little closet space or something, I mean, Doc Sevens used to get up in planes and go practice in the bathroom. Now, number one, inhaling that for an hour and just feeling in this claustrophobic, oh God, shoot me now. Now, that's all the crap I used to do when I get it. Now, I am not in any way, shape, or form saying you're going to be a great trumpet player if you don't practice. I've never said that to anybody, okay? But you don't have to grind out the hours and hours and hours to build up chops. Guys, we are not building up anything. Quite the opposite. We are relaxing. Okay? We are relaxing the corners and we are getting the compression inside the mouth. Guys, your tongue is one of the strongest muscles in the body. You have all the strength in your tongue already to play quadruple C's. You don't have to build anything up. Anybody says you got to build up chops, say thank you very much and walk the other way. Now, as I said, that does not mean if you have the Brandenburg on Monday, then you don't play for the week before. Now, I've told you many times on these type of things, what happens when I take time off. And got one coming up. I'm going out to Vegas to see Perico for 4 days. And I'll do the, first notes of the day. What happens is my technique is off. My fingers are not coordinated with the tongue and all that goes on. And I feel like it's a clam bake. If I had something like the Carnival of Venice or something like that, it would be tough. But usually, I get 10 minutes on that, and I'm fine, and it's all back to it. Now, as I said, the coordination and the technique is off, but the chops feel fine. What happens to me, and might happen, and I got to be careful in Vegas because I want to spend some time by the pool, is my lips very easily get burnt. That happens to me when I'm out down at the beach and all that sort of stuff. I love the sun. The sun is healthy, man. It's for the other channel, but the sun is healthy. But you got to be careful you don't burn the chops. And that's all of a sudden the whole texture and everything and the feel again of your chops is gone, and that's a different story. But if for some reason you are in pain, a sore back, a toothache or something, don't try to play through it. Wait until you feel 100% and then get back to it. Your chops are not going to go anywhere. They may not get a whole lot better if you're taking time off, but they are not going anywhere. All right? All right. Eat and drink your fruits and vegetables and live your life with true power. Love you all.